Now, today we go to the Free State, where the brutal discovery of a young man's body buried on a farm between Kroonstad and Welkom has reopened South Africa's deep and painful wound around race and justice. Now, police have arrested an 80-year-old farmer in connection with the murder after a community tip-off led investigators to the grim scene. Now, the body, found in an advanced state of decomposition, has not yet been formally identified pending DNA results. But what we know is this, right? Yet another black body has been unearthed on a South African farm, and once again, the silence surrounding rural racial violence is being shattered. Let's watch.
Come down. About the incident as with get out of my
Okay.
farm. Get out of
Sorry, I'm out of your farm now.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're still inside.
Okay, how do you feel now?
I feel very bad because this is the second farm attack on me. Not on me, on my place. The first one shot me from outside my house. He missed 4 meters. His angle was too bad. I came out with a shotgun and I killed him. I will kill somebody in 4 inches.
So you've killed someone
Somebody shot
before?
me.
You've killed someone before?
What?
You said you killed the first one. So have you killed someone before? You are saying you killed the first one?
I said I was attacked
Before.
Somebody shoot at me and he missed.
And when was it?
And how did you respond to it? To that first attack? How did you respond to the first? How did you defend yourself?
If I'm a farmer and you attack me in my house, I kill you.
You killed someone.
Have you done that before?
Have you killed before? You're in my farm.
Okay.
Violent.
You're saying you have killed before. Can you confirm when did you do that? When were you attacked?
The first farm attack.
When was it?
About 10 years ago.
Did you report the case to the police?
Yes, the police was there. Everybody was there.
Okay. How are you feeling about this incident? Do you know what happened?
How do you feel about the fact that a person attacked 5 cable thieves, attacked my son? I'm feeling very bad about it.
How do you feel about your grandson allegedly shooting and killing someone? How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about the farm attack on my son?
No, we're talking about...
It was a mistaken farm attack because his rifle was standing against he didn't have his rifle in his hand.
How?
Now, according to police spokesperson Brigadier Michaele, the remains were discovered in August 20th after Bloemfontein task team followed up a tip-off from local residents. Now, the site located off the road between Kroonstad and Welkom was described by investigators as a secluded area on a private farmland. Now, the young man had allegedly been buried there, which clearly shows a deliberate act meant to conceal the crime. Now, due to the state of the remains, forensics expert collected DNA samples to determine the victim's identity. Police have since opened a docket for murder and defeating the ends of justice. Now, Brigadier Michaele confirmed that an 80-year-old man had been taken into custody and that more arrests could follow. Now, in a public statement, he appealed for calm and warned against speculation, saying, and I quote, "This is a very serious and sensitive case. We ask the community to allow the investigation to unfold in an evidence-driven manner. But on the ground, though, calm is the last thing people are feeling." In nearby towns, anger is boiling. The economic freedom fighters have staged protests outside the farm and the police station, demanding transparency and justice. Now, EFF Provincial Secretary Sanku Msimanga said, and I quote, "This is a clear case of racial violence and systemic failure. For too long, crimes against Black farm workers and rural youth have been buried, literally and figuratively, without accountability." Let's watch.
So there's 6 people, and then he shot at them, and then he killed one of them. What happened to the body?
What happened to it?
To the body of the dead man.
The body of the dead man?
Yes.
The body of the dead man? Yes, I know. I did the wrong thing. I should have called the police.
You're right. You admit you buried the dead man.
So you admit
I know.
it?
So that if I didn't bury him immediately, the jackal would have eaten him. But I should have
Hey,
called the
Batho
police.
Now, community members echoed that sentiment, saying this is not an isolated incident, but part of a disturbing pattern of violence on farms across the province. Some locals described a climate of fear, which is young black men disappearing, people being threatened, and families too afraid to speak out. Now, one protester told local media that this is not the first time a black man has gone missing in this area, and it's just the first time that they've actually found a body. And that brings us to a haunting truth, which this case feels all too familiar. I mean, in May, just a few months ago, another elderly farmer, 78-year-old Carl Gata, was charged with the 2016 killing of Sunny Boy Sekgalo, accused of attempted robbery at the time, and was actually found face down with a bullet wound in his back. He was unarmed. And despite witnesses and forensics evidence, no one was charged for years until public pressure actually forced authorities to reopen the case. Now, sounds familiar? Because it should. These cases follow the same pattern. A young black man ends up dead on a farm, often accused of trespassing or theft. The white farmer claims self-defense, and then there's silence. Years of silence until a family or a community or a journalist actually refuses to let it go. And that's what's happening again in Kronstadt. Now let's talk honestly, right? Farm murders are not new, but how we talk about them is still divided along race lines, because when a white farmer is killed, it makes national headlines. Politicians rush to condemn it. We see hashtags, marches, and media sympathy, but when a black farm worker or young black man is killed and buried in someone's land and hidden inside, the country goes silent, and that silence is not usual, but it is complicity, because this is not just crime, but it is about power. It's about who owns the land and who controls justice and whose life is still seen as disposable post-apartheid South Africa. I mean, the same farms where our ancestors worked as laborers remain symbols of inequality today. And even now, nearly 30 years into democracy, the question remains, who gets to feel safe on South African soil? Now, the South African Police Service says it is handling this as a priority investigation under the supervision of senior detectives, and the National Prosecuting Authority is monitoring the case closely and says that it is determined to pursue justice without fear or favor. But activists remain skeptical. They point out that historically, many rural murder cases involving white perpetrators and black victims have ended without convictions, either due to weak investigation or political pressure. Now, these civil society groups, including #Justice for Rural Workers and the Black Lawyers Associations, have called for independent oversight to ensure that the case is not buried like the victim himself. And it honestly breaks me that in 2025, we are still reporting stories like this. An elderly farmer, a young black man, a shallow grave on a piece of land that our ancestors were forced to plow. This is not just a crime, but it's a mirror held up to our national conscience, because these cases don't happen in isolation, but they happen in a system that continues to protect certain people while making others disappear, literally and legally. And when black people call for justice in rural killings, we're told not to make it racial. But when will South Africa admit that race has always been a part of how justice is served or denied in this country? We must not allow the age of the accused, who is an 80-year-old man, to soften our outrage, because elderly does not erase wrongdoing. Accountability must know no age, no race, no title. Justice must be blind, but it cannot be deaf to history. And as the investigation continues, the community waits for the DNA confirmation to identify the victim and bring closure to their family. The police say more arrests could follow and additional evidence is being processed. But meanwhile, the provincial education human rights departments have announced plans to host dialogues in the area, hoping to confront racism and racial and rural violence head on. But as many South Africans have said before, dialogue without justice is just talk. This is not just about one man's death, it's about the value of life in a country that claims to have healed. If the blood of the oppressed still soaks in our soil, then we are not free. Now, South Africa must decide. Will we keep pretending that race and land are issues of the past, or will we finally confront what's happening in our rural communities? Now, with that being said, let's continue the conversation in the comments section. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is bye-bye.